everyone, my name is Joanna and welcome to my video. And today's video I'm going to be talking about The Nemesis by S.J. Kincaid, which is the final novel in the Diabolic trilogy. Talking about this is going to be hard because I really don't want to give any of it away. I really enjoyed this book. It is super clever in the way it's written. S.J. Kincaid, brilliant writer, so brilliant trilogy. So after watching Tyrus, the love of her life and emperor of this part of the universe, develop into a tyrant, Nemesis has found herself lost on a far-flung, very poor planet in the unfashionable end of the Empire, where she is basically just stewing in grief. So Nemesis is a Diabolic, which are bioengineered creatures. So she is a living creature, but she was created in a laboratory and she was programmed to dedicate her life to one single person as the kind of ultimate bodyguard. So she was programmed to kind of just have no mercy. She's incredibly strong and very prone to violence, let's say. But her previous owner, Sidonia, always insisted that she was much more than just a Diabolic, that she could feel love, that she was an actual person because she is humanoid, she looks like a human, albeit a very strong one. And she even went to their priest, the Helionic religion, and asked him to bless her, but he refused because she wasn't an actual person. And after Sidonia's death, Tyrus basically took over this same ideology, that she was more than just a Diabolic. She could feel love, she could have an actual human life. And he actually got personhood granted to her through the head of the Helionic religion. So now she is officially a person, but she is really feeling the backlash of the love that she learnt to feel because Sidonia died and Tyrus is now a tyrant, and so she lost both of the people that she'd learnt to love, and now she's experiencing grief. She feels anger, resentment towards Sidonia and blames her for the incredible pain that she feels. But some resentful voice deep within me beat in the back of my mind. It was her fault. It was all her fault. She taught me to love, and so she had given me this terrible pain. I never would have known what it was like to be this empty, and I never known what it was to feel so complete. I wished I'd never loved her, never loved Tyrus. Oh, how I longed to be a cruel and unfeeling Diabolic killer with no attachment to anyone, to anything, and she had robbed me of that forever. So she essentially feels angry at having been made into a human, basically, because Tyrus made her into his empress and expected so much of her and wanted so much from her. And she was learning how to bask in this new way of living, but then it was all very violently and horribly torn away from her. But as the novel goes along, she has to go to Sidonia's vault, where she finds one of her toys from when she was a child, and all these memories come flooding back of how she did love Sidonia and how she wanted to protect her and how that was actually a beautiful thing and she felt happy for it. And also, as far as Tyra's concerned, she starts to understand how, well, sure, I am feeling this horrible emotion, but that is the backlash of all the beautiful things, as if like the more love and the more happiness you can feel, the darker and the more depressed the fall is. Like the deeper the grief and the despair can go, that she has to learn to reconcile those two things. I withdrew it and sank down to the floor. I had nightmares about her when I screamed at her, where I punched her for making me learn to feel, to experience the pain that came with love. Now it was pain that rushed through me, and yet my anger at her had gone. A disgraceful, shameful memory, for I still loved her. I still loved Donia, and oh stars, I missed her. Donia had liked to play a game when we were small. The Imperial Fortress orbited a giant gas planet, and she would point at all the shapes she saw in the swirls of red, yellow and orange clouds. A bunny, a frog. If we were on the dark side of the planet, she would use this cloud sphere instead. pressing her eye close to it, trying to find shapes in the gases. She always tried to convince me to play. I refused. I told her I saw nothing in the clouds, that such games were a waste of time. But I lied. I had indeed seen shapes in the cloud sphere. An injured man dragging himself along, one leg a stump. A face contorted by terror, mouth wrenched wide in agony. Pools of blood, splotching a trail across the clouds. I would sooner have died than tell Sidonia the truth. I found myself remembering something else. The sight from the window on the Hera as Tyrus and I departed the sacred city. The day after we'd made love for the first time, he'd fallen asleep in my arms, and I'd found myself tracing the interdict's mark over my heart. That mark of blessing that deemed me a person. As strings of dust and starlight unfurled out of the window. And for the first time, staring at the view, I had seen beauty in shapes. Not hideous and violent things, but two hands interlinked, a current passing between them. A pair of humans wrapped in an embrace. Trees, mountains, shooting stars, so many wonders. My eyes had been opened to them. Donia, I thought. Donia, I see them now. After this, she has to decide how to deal with Tyrus, the new tyrant Tyrus. The reason I don't want to give too much of this away is because S.J. Kincaid did a really clever job with Tyrus. So he has been drugged by one of his opponents, Senator Van Passus, who tricked him into taking this drug, which means he could control him, but this drug also has a very, very destructive impact on his mind. It rids him of all empathy and compassion. So when Nemesis actually does get back to him in book 2, he has been on this drug for 3 years, so he is now completely gone. However, there are two narratives. There's one that would have Nemesis and the reader believe that he learnt how to overcome this drug and he's actually been pretending to be a tyrant. And there's another side that would have us believe that he didn't overcome the drug, he actually is a tyrant, and he's pretending that he has overcome it. So there's all these kind of layers and, like, waving in and out of each other. It just keeps you confused, but, like, you know, the good kind of confusion, not the one where you're like, what the hell's going on, but really, like, what is true, what's not true, what's going on, and where's this gonna go? And S.J. Kincaid really managed that really well, and I super enjoyed this trilogy for that reason. So I very strongly recommend this trilogy. I really love the world S.J. Kincaid created. I really love the characters. I really love the intrigue, all the kind of court politics, and the way that the whole empire is run. Just everything, the way it's written, the way Nemesis goes, the way Tyrus goes, the way just everything goes so wrong, and how Nemesis kind of puts it back together. It's such a good story. So yes, the Diabolic trilogy by S.J. Kincaid. Really strongly recommend this one. So that's it for this video. That was the Nemesis, the final installment of the Diabolic trilogy by S.J. Kincaid. Super enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video too. Don't hesitate to like, share, comment and subscribe. And I'll thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.